Right, thanks for coming on, peeps. I think Rosie just legged it, yeah. Right, these two. You shut that door, pet, for us, Tom. These two are from last week. Well, I mentioned the quartermaster and the boatswain's mate. This was on the gangway. Anywhere we go, you got somebody obviously watching you coming on. So there's the quartermaster. There's the boatswain's mate. Me and him was the only two Seacat aimers on board ship. I think he had the port side, I had the starboard side. So we was Seacat missile aimers, obviously both gunners. But this is where he had his bosun's call. He used to pipe breakfast, dinner, and call downs, pipe down, and all that crap. But somebody put that on, find this and out, there you go, Blackie. And me, and that was in Nassau. If we go on to the next one, Terry Turner, I can remember him. There you go, the putty, always in the paint shop. What did he have with the white spirits? It was a rum he was after. There was about 16 of us who knew I used to stow the rum away in the empty barrels, the paint tins. And obviously he was one of them. He was a bit of a lad. In fact, I still have him as a mate on Facebook. Good lad. Good times. Good memories. Right, my mate Sylvain from Canada. He likes his canners. And this is one of his. And hopefully he'll have some seed for this one. Corker. That's one of his crosses. And if you remember last year, I sent away for quite a bit of his seed, what he put online. There was a few on, but the collection is, well, you can see there, really over 40. But some corkers on here as well. But not every canner throws seed. You have to use a rhizome, which is no good for sending abroad because it'll be really dead as a fart by the time you get it all squashed or some of these, like that one there, that is a pure white leaf. So if you've got a bright red flower with that, that's going to be a corker. But he will have his seed list ready by about November. So I'm going to, if anybody's interested, as soon as he sends me the list, I'll put all the photos together. Just let me know. I've run quite a few groups. This one is from a mate in Asia, and that one is a corker. I've seen red ones with yellow throat, and in but this one with a yellow and red inner. Nice one. Right, Newbury farm plants. I've been trying to get, well, I've got about 3 now, of people who in the UK who sell decent canner plants, i.e. they do them themselves. They don't import them from Holland. And this is one of the places, Newbury farm plants. And this was at Hampton Court Palace, obviously. They had a stand there. And this was on the next day, all they got gold, which was brilliant for them. But that's where I'd want my last canner from. Because you know, it's good stock. Right, Scott's sent me a few photos. All yours, Scott, mate?
Okay, mate.
Oh, what?
Just yeah, what a surprise. It's a canner. Yeah, that's I got this one this year, and it started flowering this week. So yeah, beautiful thing.
Nice. What's the missus think on them?
But yeah, she likes them.
Good.
Yeah, she likes them.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a plus, isn't it? Yeah, the pretty flower helps. Yeah, and they're the babies I took off the banana plant, the Misu Baju that I mentioned on the last couple of photos I had.
Yeah.
And then Paul Westwood said I'll take them off with a sharp knife and plant them up. So I have done it. They seem all right. They haven't died yet, so
Good.
I got some root on them. So when I took them off, so
Good.
hopefully they'll 3 plants. What's better?
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and this is my new project, new greenhouse, bigger greenhouse. So it's taken me a while to do the brickwork, but I had to get it exactly the right size, for the greenhouse that was coming. They emailed me all the measurements and stuff, so it's been a bit of a stressful thing, but we're getting there. And it came this week, so last week, so I've got the week off this week, and I'm putting it up. So I think there's another picture of the frame.
You're slowly taking over the garden, isn't it?
I know, 10 foot by 6. I was well chuffed that I was allowed to have it. Yeah, so that's it's gone up pretty easy actually. It's a halls.
Oh,
yeah, all right.
it's an old name, Halls.
Halls, yeah.
Further out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the instructions and you think, oh God, you need a science degree. But when it's pretty easy. All the packs are all individually numbered, and each that corresponds to a page on the instructions. That's quite good.
Good.
So, yeah. So, and then I don't know if you remember, this plant called a prickly pear. I've had it since about lockdown. I think we bought it for the tortoise, and you buy a pad and you grow it, and then it just grows in anything basically, and it just, no matter what you do to it, look, you see we've hacked bits off it, and it just keeps sprouting. And then the tortoise don't really like it, so Donna cut a big pad off at the end of last summer. She said she was going to dry it off and try and sell it or give it to somebody else for their tortoise. And so we cut it off, and it's been in the utility room since the end of last summer, and in the dark, not in any soil or anything, just standing there, just trying to dry it off. And then I think the next photo you'll see that sprouted. Can't believe it.
Excellent.
I know. It's just don't want to die. So mental. So, so that's we've taken that off, and she's gonna try and grow that one now. So I don't know. We'll be giving the pad now to a local reptile shop so he can feed his tortoises with it. So.
Well, that chap ain't going to take up much room, is he?
No, he's not. But yeah, remarkable plants, really. Yeah.
That's filling out now. That's what you've done.
That is, yeah. Donna's been in charge of that this year. I left most of my dailies in there, and that's where they just all disappeared. I lost nearly all of them apart from one. And then when we were clearing the border where the new greenhouse was gone, Donna's transplanted all those plants into there.
Yeah.
And she's just taken over. So I'll just leave her, leave her in charge. It's the best way, I find.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's full of flower. It has been, since foxgloves and hollyhocks and sunflowers and stuff like that. So yeah.
Good.
And then I don't know if there's one more, maybe. Yeah, that's a new thing. She's just painted the fence all at the bottom of the garden. It's a happy space. So when she can see it from the kitchen window. When the sun's gone in, she can look down there and cheers her up. So
Scott, you haven't seen that from the moon.
I know. We had one corner of it done, but then she decided to do the whole lot. So, but so
You got to use it.
I don't know what the neighbours think, but who cares?
Like
Cheerful. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Lovely. Cheers, Scott, mate.
Bye, mate.
Good man.
Thank you, love.
This is another one I sent to me mate, a canner. In fact, all the canners I've split this year. I was going to flog quite a few. And like a rag, well, I'll just get them all away. But basically, to friends. And them enjoying them, and them getting the bug now as well. Right, Goose Gogs. Because I've come early, obviously, because they do. I still need them for the show, but obviously I can't exhibit gooseberries, but I can. because I can make some jam hands on them. But while I was looking at the chaps, because especially the red ones, we go back on them there. We kicked somebody off our allotment a couple of years back, and he had a red goosegog, and that was in fruit. Taste of them was superb. So I got me a red and a green. But looking at these, picking some goosgogs off underneath, just opening up a leaf. I don't know whether that's a caterpillar crap or what. But it went in the bin in a row. Then looking around everything else, any leaf that's curled up, that's telling me there's so much wrong with it. So I just open it up and squash the little chap. And there he is. Why do they make them green? I'm harder to see. Right, blackberry, which is going up the patio wall across here. Because I obviously had to cut him off because it reached the end of the wall. And so he's got same as us getting a cut. He's infected. So I'm going to slice him off to a clean cut, as I've done there. Now I'm going to look after that cut with a bit of runny honey. So just bung some on your finger, bung it on the end, and just cover the end, and then lick the rest off your finger. Right, Arthur next door had his ticket on. I'm still looking at, well, I'm still looking after his garden there. He's still got to do, although he's pulling his bloody hair out, he wants to get up there. When Brenda goes out to have her hair done, he's out there straight away. Was I don't know. But I'd be exactly the same, wanting to do things. But he likes his runners. He's got one block down there, another in there, just reading that lot. And that was for Brenda's Sunday dinner. So I did that lot down there, and I started going across the back, which I've done there and all. So I've done his parsnips, which is down the side. That's the main thing he was on about when he went in. Then I did his leeks, which on either side, the lettuce, and then 2 rows of runner beans. The rest, the large weeds have been pulled out. The weeds underneath, it don't matter too much. Right, a couple of canners. This one is, like I mentioned earlier on, I had a canner from a reputable person in the UK, and this one was also supposed to be from a reputable person. And they cock up that bed, they've left a bloody sticker on. The UK plant passport, meaning I've had that imported. So I'm going to see how it goes. In fact, I just potted him on and I took the sticker off the old pot and put it on that one, just to remind me. Because you see that little bit of leaf there, that do look very nice, or very good. And that is another one I've got to keep an eye on. So there's just these 2 so far. So I just send a photo to Sylvain every week, give him an update. And if he says I've got a virus, then that'll be binned. And then I get in touch with the suppliers, obviously. Right, super soil. I've had that a couple of weeks now, still trying it. This was another trial. This was damp leaf mold. So I put my brew in there. The cock up, because everything I've read up on this, nobody's ever tried it with compost or leaf mold. So I've done it with both, and I haven't used my compost. I ain't touched it, disturbed it, nothing. I've just left it to get good. But you've got to keep them open, I was told during the week. Meaning, when I bag my leaf mold up, it ain't going to do nothing because it can't breathe. So I might have been wasted 3 weeks doing it anyway. This is them shredded leaves anyway when I pick them up. And I've just wet every little bit of leaf that's in there. This is just a photo from Art. He's looking at my compost bin where it is. So the sun comes up there, starts off, the sun's on the bin, then it goes around the back of this, and then like now the sun is on that. So when we move in, it left the fence paneling out, so I've got the sun on the greenhouse as well at night. which you can see is just gone off it there. The sun's still out of the back. Another view from next door, which I've never had a photo of my frames before. Topless. Like these old bedding plants that have coming out. Wallflowers, I think there was. And also my spare Gladys, the Corbs. This was a couple of weeks ago. Thought, well, I'm still going to use them, so I'm going to pot them on in 6.5 inch pots. Give them good water. In fact, because I've got that super soil, I'm doing all the house plants with well. You've only got to use it once. Very similar to my Mycorrhizal fungi. And it just takes over the soil, puts in microbes. Well, we'll see how that goes anyway. Sweet peas, as soon as they get to the top of there, then I shall chop them off. But them go in loop. Like every other flower, dead. And you will get more. That's from the top looking down, delphiniums. The best he's ever been this year. The only problem is when you get the rain and the winds. Because of the weight of the rain on that lot, it doesn't topple it over. Well, I've tied him up here. But there might be two that'll snap off, just the weight on them. That's the only problem with these. And let's look at them. Where all my sweet peas are coming up. Some are taking longer than others, but I'm watering more regular now on the sweet peas. Since I found out last week that short stems on sweet peas are caused by lack of water. So even if you think you've had a good downpour, I ain't gonna water the next day. Still water. Well, that's if you want long stems. I do because eventually I'm going to be showing them what I have show. And the sweet peas, you can just make them out of the front. They have now come, most of them have come out, and that luckily they're hanging onto the front, so I'll be able to reach them. But they were doing well as well. Alstroemeria and this flower, they didn't pull them straight out from the base. Russian having a perm. In fact, we got Benetton now, and he sent me a photo 20 minutes ago. And Russian having a piddle in the tunnel. They're just putting a marker down. But this is just a photo, just to, because I've got a bit of a space there. What I'm doing is putting an 8-foot cane in at an angle. And my spare peas for exhibition. This is eating peas, veg peas. I'm going to put 5 peas in there as well. So when I'm growing up, when they do hang, they will hang straight away from the cane and not touch anything. So there'll be no markings on the bloom of the pea. That's what I'm after on your road. So I'm just spacing these out 17 inches. Once they are all in, so I can move these across the top with 17 inches between one cane. Well, from where the plant is going to go to the next one. As you can see there, 17 inches. So I've got my 5 canes in. These have been the late ones going in, obviously, because these are going to come earlier. Also, a couple of gap, like the entrance. There's my peach. He ain't going to do much this year. That's his first year. We'll come on to him later on. But I've got a gap there, so I'm glad he goes in. Because I'm going to be peas that side, I've also got gaps this side. So I'll put 5 corbs in there as well, bloody corbs. It's quite a bit I did, that's a super soil when the peas I started. So that was weighted with the super soil, and that was normal. Also doing different plants as well as a trial. But there's 5 lots of peas going in. There's 2 more going in tomorrow. Then I think it's another 5 days before the next lot go in. Right, bulk clear. Started using this so beware to weren't working. Well, it was, but was for a bit. But I want something to work for definite, because I'm going to show me stuff. I want it, so I need it clean. So I've got no choice. I've got to use book clear. As you can see, this is a few-year-old, half price from Wilko. Measure it out and spray everything. I don't want to get no thrip. I had a bit of thrip on me Gladys last year, and it does knacker the plant up. Because when you show a Gladdy, you always keep a couple of leaves on as well. I just sprayed everything as soon as the sun goes off it. All the fruit trees as well. Any leaf that's curling up, I'll spray them dry. Like we're getting now more butterflies about. Like 2 weeks ago, you couldn't see a butterfly. Now the cabbage whites and bloody everywhere. Right, there's my little chap. That leaf does not look well at all. Or that one there. Just keep an eye on him. Right, my fruit trees, which I got in four fruit trees. It's 2 apples. Just done that, mix the apples out. I'm going to quick perv down there. I've still got my 1 row of corblets in me Gladys. There's another leaf that's enclosed or looking after some little chap. Looking at these down the bottom, I'll get a close up. That was obviously this was taken in June, so this is June drop. It's just nature thinning the fruit trees out for you. I used to get it down the plot. Well, everybody gets it, but he just drops the weakest ones off. He's a good lad. Our mate upstairs. Right, some of these canners, once they are put in their final position, level, because I'm on this bit of a slope, not top dressed with straw, stop them drying out. Some of the flowers, again, there's a bit of a weight on them. Like he's started going over already with the weight of the flower. So just have a look inside. And there is another little leaf in there. I thought it might have been another flower, but it was a leaf. But I'll just help them out. I put a cane in. I think that was a 3 foot thin cane, and just helping them out, holding them up with a bit of string. Looks a bit better. And this little chap, first year at your fig, got some on. Excellent. Right, Chlorophos. We used to use this years ago. I used to fog it from the shed. I think it's when we joined Common Market. They banned some of what was in there, took it out, and then called it Bromophos. But the stuff they took out used to kill carrot fly. Of course, it's not as affected as it used to be. But that's all I've got. I found it, so I'm still going to use it. So all my carrots, get a sprinkling in this, even the ones in the tubs when I'm trying them. 3 last canners of mine from seed. These are doing well. Have a quick perv, make my own brew. Right, time for a second grow more feed on the garden. Everything on the garden. With plants, fruit trees, things in tubs, I put me, and I'm going to get a fistful, and I put my fist in there, and then I open my hand, meaning the grow more I know is going straight on the surface. If you just throw it on willy-nilly, if there's anything, stick it on a leaf, and the sun comes out, it'll scorch it and mark it, whatever. So, plus, if that was a normal ground, you'll be wasted. Like my fruit trees, I mean. But everything gets fed, even my Gladys, and my peas, sweet peas. These are me veg peas when they go in. There's another duff canner. I'm going to take him down, Craigie's down, football club, put him out down there. This bed gets it as well. Everything inside the tunnel, and all my pots and my tubs, they get it. and my fruit trees down there. This lot, in fact, everything gets grow mold a lot. This lot has now been wood chipped, so that's keeping the moisture in, keep the weeds down. I hope. My last raised bed in the middle, and these tubs. And then the bottom lot, they get grow more as well. Everything. Right, looking at fig tree feed, I didn't know there was any. I thought, well, I'll have a nose just in case. And there was. Wouldn't be fact that this is the only one I found. Because I want for our show, I want a collection of fruit. That'll be my collection, so I want the best I can get. So that was for him. And the giant Cape Gooseberry is going loop. Well, no, they go loop anyway, but looking after that chap. There's one more tub there. I've got my blackberry in there, the strawberry, spare strawberries going in here, so I've got to fill in with a good brew. So I'd half filled him, put straw on top to stop that one drying out, because when I was watering that lot as well. So that drying medium in there was ticking away. It hadn't dried out and doing nothing. So I just take the straw off and then start filling up with another good brew. This is my own brew, normal stuff. I found this in the shed, been there for a couple of years. I think this is the first mycorrhiza I've ever had. I had it from Symbio down in London. They gave me this tub. When it first came out, the only way you could get it was in powder form or granular, as it is there. There's my granular form, that's powder form. So when it first came out, they used to fly me from the States. I think it was called Shark or something. I remember a white tub. That was a proper, it was like talcum powder. But this is a good brew as well. So I thought, well, I'll start using him, help him out. You can either put it in the hole or it's taking me a bit of paper off the bottom and sprinkle it on the base of the roots there. So I know he's touching the root. So my straw goes in on a slight slant. And I'm going to put a good drop of muck under him. So I'm getting there at time, breaking it up so it is easier to top dress that plant which I've just pulled in. You've got a nice water in now, help them out. And then I'll put some more straw on top of that, help stop that drying out. Just look after him. Bug him on, give him a haircut. Then water it in. Stop the wind blowing that off because I've got netting all the way around. And when it is windy, obviously, because I want air circulation, which is the main thing as well. Something else you need. Right, you're getting close to being binned. This one is getting now that bad. I'm not even going to plant him down crazy to I'll be embarrassed. If somebody says, who's that from? Say, Mick Cross, he's got some in the road. Coffee grounds. This is my last lit on. I've got 2 more talks this year. So I need 2 bags of this lot, besides my own. This year's growth for the blackberries, tying them in. And my fruit is now coming on the end of the spurs. Obviously, this year's fruit. Still getting me doggy bags and me leaf mold. And when I get them on, and little twigs out, and that'll just go on top of them. This is me peach tree outside. That's me lemon. So that's just the top dressing on top of there. Another mulch. I'll just look at that one. So the mulch is you can have straw, or you can have wood chip. There's even pebbles. That's the first. When we had this plant in the house and we had our grandchild, Russian, was digging the bloody, well, he was digging everything up. One thing he was digging was this, and that's why we ended up putting pebbles in. That's the only reason the pebbles are on there. Well, now he's been bought out this summer. We've probably had the summer in June. or pebbles. That's another mulch you can use. Or you can use vermiculite. That's rather bougainvillea. Or slate, stone, anything like that. They're all just keep the moisture in, keep the weeds down. Plus it looks better. And there's McKenna, and he's just throwing a shoot now. In fact, by next week we should get the flower on him. Daily, somewhat I learned last week. Thank you, Lizzie. That's why they only last a day. Good name for them. There's me other variety. Ask me the name of the chap, Delphinium. But he's been good as well. Right, all I'm doing here is dead ending these ends. I'm cutting all the straw bits off it. And different things are opening up, which is always good to see. Right, I sent away for the drip irrigation system, which I told you about. Paid 30 quid off on in this store. Was it 30 or 50? I can't remember. I think it was 50. It was only fig tree crap and all. Mate rung us up and wanted some 8-foot canes from down the plot. So I legged down there. And these are the last of the thickens. And these are thick. I mean, I can get my thumb in the end there and wiggle my thumb around. So they're thick as a ferret. But they're now flogging the bamboo canes, which are the thin ones or normal ones, 45 pence, and the 8-foot, the thick ones, 75p each. But I had most of them made because I wanted good strong ones, and them are really strong. Next door, Arkley, he got nothing, so I bought him Maxi Crop and tomato feed. And his scissors, he got 4 or 5 pairs of scissors, a knife that was blunt as a file. So I bought him a pair of scissors in, a spare pair, little cut bloody string now. I think feed his plants and all. It's been rushing. Right, saw these down a little last week. Scented, yes, straight away. To Smith, I'm going in. So I bought them out and I'm going to bulb them in the back of there. Because these I've died off, more flowers, so they come out, they've done well. And I did put this chap in the back as well, but that's no hassle. I'll just get him back out again. Paul gave me him from B&Q because he knows I like my variegated leaf. It's a Boston plant. Good broad is Harris. Give them a good feed with that and all, see how that goes. So 4 on each bed, bit of space. If you remember, right on this edge, I'll put some Gladys in, the Primulas, and there's one there just coming through. So I think I had 2 inches there gap on your way to leave. Go back on that one. These have had a pinch of mic under their eyes to help them out. And when you dead end these, you've got to be very careful. Because cutting the old ones off, there's a new bud right next to it. So you got to make sure you don't chop pretty lot off. But the scent already from them. We're just making a good brew up. Because this has dropped as well, meaning I'm going to top dress that, proper top dress it. So I've done that one, brought it up to the level of the top. It was another good downpour and that'll drop again. So I've done him, just got to do this one. Don't forget there's feed in that lot which is going in as well. Give it a good watering. If it does say it's going to rain and you don't water, it won't rain. So I'll give it a good feed. Right, getting a little flower. This was a nice surprise because you're not supposed to get flowers the first year from seed unless you start very early. Now I was late putting these in, He'll have very little heat on in the greenhouse. So for me to get a flower off him from seed, I mean, I've every propagator on. Well, that's the only heat. And then when that was too big in the propagator, I just took the lid off. So they still got the bottom heat, although it was open at the top. But I was chuffed to bits to see. Right, there's my irrigation kit. And there's my feed. So it was 50 quid that you get as half. Big tree feed. That'll do for me and my fig tree. More potash than anything, obviously. Same as with those. And Andy next door's come back and stripped all his shit. And you've got to sort the panels out as well. Bottom 3. I'm not threatening him, but politely asked him, sort yourself out. Right, this was last Friday, Friday 30th of June, Woodchurch Civic Centre, High Street, Shropshire. Keep calm, make compost. Got all my bits out, ready to flog. Started coming in, get them nice and settled. As a chairman, getting the spiel before I legged it on there. They enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. Good night. Quite a few sales and all, which is always good. Right, my feed, which is for my fig every 10 days. Rain, water again. Just bung him in. Right, the next day, Saturday, I was giving a talk to Lee's allotments. This was in Rubery, Brum. I've been there a few times. Been associated with them for quite a bit. Done quite a bit for them. They come to our meetings and our show, so look after them. Permanent marquee this up, which is great. Birmingham sites look after their people more so than what Dudley Borough do, in the sense that they've got proper buildings with toilets, kitchens and things. So this is just an extra where they have meetings or dues, small events. But that's me pulling up and unloading. We're at Boston Day. Good job. And it was like a tea party, and then me doing the talk after. We're at Jason, who judges our domestic class cakes or whatever. He's a cook, and he did all this lot. Cream teas. Brilliant. I think it was 8 quid ahead or something. With me doing my talk, there, Jason, good lad. But this lot, because it was, I've tried to do talks before in marquees, and it's too bright. People crossing the screen. So luckily I saved all my bits because it was a practical demonstration, and this is what I used to use at BBC Gold or Live. Luckily I've kept most of the stuff. There's a couple of big things which I didn't bring in. They need, well, I've got room for them, but that's just going through the gum. Well, that turned out well as well, and that was an excellent afternoon. Plus, all many cakes left over at the end. Right, another canner. This is just about make the flower there. This is what's that rated? Evil bugger, the devil. Another name for him, Lucifer. Just about making out. So I've got a couple of plants now with the name Lucifer. Really good. Right, Artley stuff next door is runner beans. Because he's had canes 80 years now. He don't like ringing inside all. He ties them together when they bust off. So they want him out, but he's 7 foot high. And he rode up. The beans have reached the top, still growing. So he's got at least a 5-foot run, because what he calls any more further. So all I've done is let him hang down, and then I'm going to tie him up from the bottom to the next cane. So he's going to get more beans, if that makes sense. So there he's hanging down there. I'm just going to wrap him around this one, as we've done there. So he's not going to waste. We'll still get the beans off him. Right, this is me doing this is through June when we had the summer. This is just watering everything, especially sweet peas. Keep long stems on it. Just look after the lot. Right, goose gobs, they're going to come off very soon. But it was a nice sunny Sunday afternoon. So right, let's take advantage of it. With our breen, we lays it down there, and it was a bit blowy down there. The mate's got a caravan there, and he says on our way down, and they left because the sun was blowing straight over onto the caravans with the wind. But as you get to the end of Breen, if you walk on the sand, right down to the end, because the rocks stick out a bit in the peninsula of the end of the land, is right to the end where we're there. It's out the wind, which was perfect because the sun was out. And Rusham, trying to get out the sun, was digging a hole under the pit. Basically, it was I knew that the sand was cool underneath, and that's where it was lying. The tide's always out of Breen. It goes out for about 30 miles. I've never seen the bloody tide in. It does come in. Look, there's a seaweed. There's Bruce's babysitter, Mandy. They're good. Just give her a stick as happy as Larry. I was going to take Russian for a walk. This is that land that sticks out. So this protects you from the wind. So the wind's legging in that road. So the more people they'll click on. So he's legging out to the sea. Looks like bloody Afghanistan. The goats on the side of the bloody strappers. So that's near the sea looking back. Park up here. Luckily they got a cast there. That's where past this from or whatever. But we had little bloody I think Pet had cream tea in him. Jam. Well, that's me collecting the seaweed up. Don't collect that because it's still a bit moist underneath. I'll collect the stuff furthest up the beach. Meaning, I tied this, took it right to the top and it's dried off. That's what I want, dry, because it's nice and light. So I'll get more in the bag and crush it in there. So I'm still drying that off even more. Then we sat down with Russian, have a cuppa. Another load of seaweed. So the gals had scones. Jam on fuss. Got a bit jam on fuss. Of course, put jam on top of cream, can you? Or you can put cream on one and jam on the other. Yeah, some players just turn it upside down and say, hey, you, these little jars come in handy. We'll come on to them later on. Is this sideways? Oh, I didn't know how to bloody put this the right way. I thought I wanted a like that forward. Good girl. As we see, we know it. Just been digging a hole under her mother. Been lying in it. Any scraps on there, Russian? That's that. So there's all my seaweed drying. That's where I got from, right to the top there. So that was dry anyway. Crisp. This was still a bit moist underneath. Well, Pet's going to throw a fit. You smell that on the way back home. Oh, this is right way up. Yeah, we can see the tide coming in. Just ran to me. The sun's come out now. Man, you took Russian for a walk to the sea. Blue skies. You can hear the wind blowing. We're there, out of the wind. Right. His Highness. Rosie. Good girl, Rosie. Is that a good since? Been with Monday. Have you? Good girl. This was on one of them. Well, that's a really great lump of wood. Somebody's carved that out all these out of the scraps. So that's been there for a while. So I wouldn't know which way. Took Russian to the sea. To the sea. Loves the wager down the brook. Sideways again. Got excited. Down that corner. Top of there, we got coach. See if Bruce can get in the sea. Coming in, Rosie. Come on. Jesus, something's me up. First time I've seen it, but it's on the rain. Come on, Rosie. Come on. Bloody Nora. Fresh. I've only been on the beach down there today, all of this end island. Protection of the wind. That's our nearest seaside. Well, Western's the nearest. Where the bubble was there. Right, Rosie, let's go back to your mum. I loves it on the beach now. I can, as soon as we get on this bit, I was off the lead. And I loves it. Loves the freedom. That's me. I wedged that lot into there. And in fact, I pressed that lot down and got this lot in as well. But that looks after me. In fact, I still ain't had time to shred it yet. I should chop it up with the egg shears in the bucket, then put it through the shredder twice. So I can use it as a fistful then, ready to use instead of a big dollop. You can put it on as a big dollop, it just takes longer to. So that's a tide coming in again, but it's time for us to leg it. This was just for our tay time. That's what we've never seen the tide in, because obviously we've always legged it back on me from down there for the day. Went to a Barbie a couple of weeks back and I had to drive. I've never thought about looking for alcohol-free beer. So I saw this on somebody's Facebook. I thought, you can get it. So I got a couple from Lidl. Perfect. It's all in the mind, isn't it? You think you're drinking beer. It's fizzy, it's supposed to be. Tastes like a decent lager, whatever. And that would do me. It's only once in a blue moon that I have to drive. But everything on here, the new rows, they're still getting fed. And then there's new buds back on them again now. But just look after everything. And I've top dressed him as well. He's doing well. Chocolate Sunrise. That was the name of the one that doesn't look very well. And that's, if he was well, that's what he'd look like. So it's a yellow with a red throat. Now if you notice, because I just put it on the internet, that the name Chocolate Sunrise, just see what it looked like. And then on the small print, RHS plants. I don't even know they're flogging them. And they're flogging these. And they're importing them as well. Naughty people. Didn't know they did it. So Sullivan says get rid of him. So I went straight in the bin. I wouldn't even plant him out. What was it? Right, just in case he's going to get sterilised, scrubbed out with boiling water, get rid of all the crap. Sweet peas in the middle, them a good bloody loop as well. The delphiniums, they'll be coming up soon. In fact, all the old crap, once it is gone, because I chopped that off, you still got a few flowers on, also clean it, wash the dead ones on them as well. Right, that delphinium that is there, I've just chopped him down. You see a couple of new leaves on the bottom. But now I'm going to feed him, because he will give you another bloom this year. Just look after the chap. But you got to feed him. That'll give him a pick me up. And the scent of these is superb. So good looking at the label, see what the name was, because the pen I had was crap. I've got another good new pen now, which ain't going to fade. So the new green shoots, which you can see there, that's what I've just cut off. So the old ones, this is last year's stems, the old ones. There's a new leaf coming up already. So he's telling you, chop me off and I'll start again. So I just feed the chap. Because there's always something else that open up. Let's chopped a bit of the crap off. But he'd be up and over there as well. Right, I went to a wedding in Brum, West Indian wedding. Ben's mate, he was best man for him. And that's where he met Gary's family, his mother and his two aunts. And I took him a canna for the wedding present. Everybody fell in love with him. So there's one for his mother, one for his two aunts. Potted him on, and they found a pot for him. Come back onto them in a bit. Everything's doing well. Scrubbing out that pot there at the cannery. I don't nothing, just in case. Probably nothing in the pot. You never know. Spare Gladys, these have started coming through now. Plus, I have had a few misses. Even some of these that haven't gone a bit. He don't look very well. So he ain't, so he's going straight in the bin. Right, we've had some winds just lately. So we tall canna blew over, so he's getting moved down the bottom. This is where we had the wings. So the three of them went down here, which obviously ain't so windy because we've got that windbreak there, the fence. This is a one at the back of the shed. He looks naff as well. And this is a canary for Charlotte, some shit. But that was off. Well, I've got to send them an email because I did ask them as well. Gracie, Farmer Gracie, them from UK, South Coast. I should have bloody clicked on. They get it from Holland. Right, just mixing the old crap up again. There's my little chap, but he needs potting on into his final pot. So I've got my own broom. He's going to have a bigger hamster muck under his Harris first. Get the height of the pot I want. Fill around the outside of that. Nice white thick roots. Yep, he's ready. Always go back on him. Always water 2 days before. Then when you upend them, they don't collapse. Always, if he's got a good root structure, ain't going to collapse anyway. But just in case you ain't got a good root structure. When he's somewhat like that, you can pick him up from the stem, the middle stem, and he'll just pick up whole. As we're doing there, just bring him in uprightish. I do with my small, what I call me small spray first, which is just a pot bottle. So these are small droplets going on. Once I've done that lot, then I'll transfer to this one. So when you water with this, it doesn't push or it doesn't run away because the compost is all the grey medium is already moist. So that's that last of my 3 cannons from seed potted on in their final pots. This one I've done for my mate Lynn from up Brum. They got a lodge in Brum. I said I'd keep one for her. I could have potted them on for them. In fact, I should have done. They came down the weekend and picked it up. Lynn and Steve might be on tonight. If not, they'll see during the week. I'll give these a good soaking, then I'll move them from there onto a dry spot to make sure it is running out the bottom. So I know they've had a good soaking. Gary, I've told him his canners ready for his family. He said he's on his way, so I'll put him in just get him in the van. So I'm now top dressing them with the chopped up straw and rabbit muck. Taking a smell. Just put them outside a bit, pots are dry, and then bung them in the car for him ready to pick up. This is top dressing all the others as well, everything else that needs doing. Boston flower leaf on him, pretty superb. Blackberry's doing well, sweet pea's doing well. Right, Dithane, 945. Used to flog this down the shed. I took this off the market as well. That was quite a bit of stuff I've taken off the market. This is for me, sweet peas, exhibition peas. In fact, you read the small print, you can use this for quite a few things. Obviously spray. Roses, peas and sweet peas. Peach, pear, apple. So once a week, when the sun's gone off them, and there's no wind, no rain, then we'll get a spray. Right, my lemon tree. This is outside next to the peach. Loads of flowers on. I was spraying them with water, help pollination, and I've got my fruit on. So that worked as well. Yes, I'm ready for first Saturday in September. And there's my other chap. A few flowers on him, which I'm spraying when he opens up. Grapes are doing well. Keep checking them because that one is stuck on the top. So I just lifted him over, so now he's hanging. This is spraying with a Dithane. Paddy Mildrew. Right, Gary's come for his pots. Perfect. Nice and dry. Top dress for them. Right, looking at these chaps. He's telling me he's going to be yellow. That's the one that was at the top of the garden. Now you can see why he blew over. Top heavy. If that was in one of these are solid. These are away from Wilco. That was a large pot, metal, and that was at half size. But even that one has got a bit of weight in it. There's no way that's going to blow over. All that one. If he was in one of these, he'd be ideal. Anywhere, top of the garden, anywhere. These are sturdy, but obviously there's no weight in them because I'm plastic. So, but he's ideal down there. Plus, that ain't never home. So he's an ideal position for him. So the small one took his place and he went up there. And obviously he was leveled up as well. Right, the cherry tree, I remember one of his branches was growing up here. So I put a persuader on him. Meaning he's a bit of carpet on him, stop the string biting into and this is hanging loose, meaning it's telling him where to go. way to grow. So I'm just going to lift him and see when he's sprung up. I'm nearly there. So I'll just put it down again and just lifted him slightly so he's not touching the floor, if that makes sense. So he's just pulling down a bit. So another 2 weeks, take him off, and he should be persuaded him then to grow horizontal with everybody else. And this is from in my tunnel, where obviously when I've walked down into it, I stepped down, so I'm working from my side. This is taken from the other end of the tunnel, obviously. And this vine is very close to being at that end. So once he is, then I'll chop him off. And then all the nourishment will go into the fruit then. Because he's done his job for me in the sense he's reached the end. That's all I want of him. This one ain't strong as this one, but we're getting there. Plus my canes for my peas, see them doing well. Right, my peach, when I had him, it was just one stem and that lot of, well, there's only a little bit on the top. But I'm now opening an R in, whether to take him off altogether down the bottom and keep about 3 of these. So I've got one new stem and 2 stems at the side. So I took photos and I'm going to ask our fruit expert, Jerry, if I can get away with that or just leave him on his use. Because look at that, all I'm going to have fruit is at the top. Or will I have these nodes spurting next year as well?
Mick, is that well above the graft?
Where am I? Yeah. Graph's about there. Yeah, I think there's 2 small ones below the graph. I've took them off.
Right, okay, cheers, Mick.
Yeah. I remember that from last time, what you mentioned with, what else was it with Summit? I remember Summit, yeah. Jerry, but I'll see what Jerry says. Because I have picked 3 strong ones out. But we'll come back to that one. So P's doing well here. Right, everything, the sim pods, I'm just bugging them outside. It's less watering for me. Our mate upstairs will do it. But I'm just looking after the tops of the carrots, drying them up. Can't really see these very good. It's just the rows of that corner. In fact, there's one in each corner. You'll see that one very well. But the stuff is filling out nicely. Gladdy in there. He don't look very well, so he's coming out. These pulled straight away, so they went in the bin as well. Loads of bumblebees on the grass. What ain't grass is our carpet. So I'll just pick them up and bung them on one of the flowers. Well, there's holes on them. Are they knackered or the rest? Don't know. Well, I've got to replace our chap for Cosmere. There's a decent one. He's going back in there just to help him out. A bit of Mike on his Irish. Good shit, boss. So same size pot in there, pack in with the other. Take your pot out, bung your Mike in the bottom, bung him out. That tells you that I haven't been turning the pots in the greenhouse. So the sun has been on this side, the warmth. That's why all the roots are on that side. If I'd have turned the pots, the roots had been all over the place. So something else I forgot to do. I'll put them in nice and level, upright, and then firm the grey medium round the outside. I push it in from the outside. I just push it down slightly, but most of it I pack it in and give them a nice wear trim. Right, these are me golden raspberries, really fruited already with our loopy weather. I just tick them off. In fact, they're all bloody fruited. So all I should do on them is go back on him. When these come to the top, I shall leave a new growth on the bottom to come up and take its place. So I know I'm still going to get fruit later on. Something else. And check the leaves again. It's in the close up, there's something in there. Blackberry, which is on the top of the fruit where I've got my fruit trees. That's my fruit for this year. And the new growth at the back for next year, just tying him up. And the new shoots that I don't need, if I've got enough for next year, I'll take them off. Top dressing, I've filled these up. I need top dressing as well, exactly the same as the tubs and everything else. Keep that moisture in, keep the warmth in. Really good soaking. See this down little last week and all, sangria. Love it. And this is a good brew. I've had this one before. It's a pucker stuff. So I bought one of them for us. And in fact, we're going away tomorrow. North Wales for a humdinger. We're supposed to piddle down like pooling. And I bought 3 of them to take as well. So it'll be an indoor barbie. But love it. Very good sesh on the sangria. And tacos. In Spain with the kids, there's only 4 of us. And England playing football. Got bloody K-line, just watching the match. Must have had about 6 jugs of sangria. Eating tacos, Boston. You don't do it, enjoy life. We've got a reunion coming up, Gandhi's reunion, a couple of weeks' time. And my mate Colin, who, he was in hospital. That's the matron. He says, I'm going to a reunion. She says, you're not. He says, well, you either let me go or I'm going to walk out. So they threatened him. He says, right, you can go. I want you back here first thing Monday morning. And I picked him up from the hospital. And I messaged him during the week saying, you think you'll make it again? No answer. And he made one with him this afternoon. He's going to visit him tomorrow. He ain't going to do nothing. Well, he's just surviving at the moment. So live life to the full, people. Sweet peas. Now I've started watering these. I'm getting good lengths of stems on them. Yes, that's what I wanted. So that works. Don't let them dry out. Still using my Dithane weekly. That's the stuff I'm trying from Lidl. And there's a chap just bought somewhere. I looked at it. I said, any good? She said, yeah. I said, that'll do, mate. Thank you very much. Right, let's get my goose gogs off. They're no good for the show, as in exhibiting as a fruit. Once you have picked them all off, just bend down and have a look up. And then you see loads underneath, which are bloody missed, which of course you from the top. So I've got them lot off, and I'm going to mix them. Give him another tie while I was there. This is the stuff I got for Ben left me a frame. Wooden frame, obviously, but it's an old one, pop it open. And I put a bit of filler on it, and I've got to wallop it with some gold paint. Come back onto him. Our kid does volunteer work up at Wall Garden in Arsene. They flogged the red currants. Anyway, they flogged them all, but these were the surplus, which nobody wanted. So he brought them back from me. One says, do you want them? Says, yeah. I'll make some jams. I'll make some jam with me goose gogs. So I've got my jam sugar in it, my jam jars. Topped and tailed them. Put them in water. Any bits will float to the top. Take them off as well. Until it's nice and clear. Right, with a jug. I put my jug on and then put it back to 0, which we haven't done there. Then I put all the fruit in I've got in litre jug. So the exact weight of the fruit, put him in the same weight of sugar, jam sugar, the exact weight of the fruit. And this I was given 20 years ago. So same again, 1 pound of raspberries, 1 pound of sugar. Fruit in the pan, bring it to the boil. You stir in hot sugar so that goes into the microwave. That helps it out, the hot sugar. Allow sugar to dissolve. You're stirring all the time. Then when you just come to the boil, you boil rapidly until it's set. That's approximately 3 minutes. But you're stirring all the time. Ladle into warm jam jars. So that's warm water then. All has been cleaned, sterilised. But you need that jam jar warmish, not cold. You don't want it cracking. So that's me boiling all the.
Is this green towel for me, Mike?
Sugar's been in the microwave, he's stirred in as well. So when you get into the boil, 3 minutes, keep going. Right, best thing to do was I used to pour it out from that, but there's no lip on it. So now I put it into a plastic jug, and you've got a lip on it. It'll now go into the jar. Not all over the bloody top. Perfect. I've got some left in the bottom. I know what I can use. That little mini jam jar. See if I've got enough. Perfect. So I've got a big one and a little. Right, big crow's nest. I've got a few myself on, so I'll just top him up, get them off, mug them together, top and tail them, second the same thing, put them in a waiter, take all the scum off the top. Another quick swirl, that'll do exactly the same again. Zero yeah, with the weight on top. So whatever fruit, same with the sugar. Exactly the same again, stir it. And I might do 3 jars and a little. Right, remember some funny nights, like not so bad now, but we've had some not sleepless night, but we've had window slightly on if there ain't no bloody wind or anything. Plus we've had a fan on us to help us keep a bit of a humid that. But going in the greenhouse in the morning, it's still going down to 8 and 9 and 10, 10 to 50, don't forget. You think, well, it take me cold overnight. But that's inside the greenhouse. In the road up. More in the same boat. What's this one? Oh, I found a little chap. What's it open up? Yeah, he's your little. I mean, I'll keep an eye on the little buggers. Right, there's my first rose to start opening up. Beautiful, scented. And there's loads of bud on, as you can see there. So I'm chuffed with them as well. So I've got a rose on each corner. Right, Craigly Down Football Club. This for our meeting. So I'll leg it down during the day, take all the stuff down, ready for the night. And Paul from B&Q, he got his gaffer to donate some more bedding. And I think the other Paul, Chili Paul, put these out for him. I think I only give him a point. He's a price so bastard, Terry. But I've already put one of these canners out for him, so this is the second one I'm putting out. In fact, there's the first one I put out. That was off Farmer Gracie and all. So there's 3 I've got to complain to them then. Right, me jam the next day, it's been settled. I've got to put labels on. The first thing I'm going to do, because the judge is going to do this, is turn them upside down. Make sure that's nice and solid, meaning it's set perfect. And these, I was going to give these away, but obviously I've tasted them and I'm bloody eating them. Obviously I'm going to keep 2 for them, 2 for the show, and I'm taking 2 for our next meeting as well. I'm talking there on growing veg for show, and then second half preparing veg for show. And there's quite a few people interested, extras coming. Right, my flowers finally opened up a little one from seed. I knew it was yellow, but he's got red streaks in, as you can see there. Love him. Corker. He's going outside soon as well. Right, my peas that are growing, exhibition peas, veg peas. Because I can't get planted out yet. I'm going by the book, the man who grows them, for show. So they need staking. So that's what I'm doing there with them. I bought my canner out, my yellow one, next to Pet's chair here. Minion Russian comes out and legs it over the wall there. So I ain't gonna, that ain't gonna disturb anybody. Right, my canes want them in the tunnel for my peas. They was coming out of the string. I was only knocked them slightly, so now I've wired them solid. I'm still checking my vines because new shoots coming out. I don't want the shoots on. I've got all my grapes on all the nourishment to get the vine to the end. So I'm taking these out as well. Like him, if because he got a bunch on there, I shall leave him on one leaf and then pitch that out. If there's none on him, I'll take him around to the knuckle, which I've done there. So I've pinched him out. There's nothing on that one. But once he's very close to being in the end now. So when I do pinch out the end, then all these will start swelling up. Looking at everything else as well. I'm going to train these up. So at the moment, I'm just putting a cane up against, just to hold them up out of the road until I find a and I saw this little chap down there once, and then once I'd zoomed in on him, if I just open that up, just a nice butterfly I saw. I thought I'd get a close up of him, and while I got in there, he bloody flew off. Thank you very much. So I couldn't get him. So I got another bumble instead. And there was hordes on him. Big uns. Well, when I planted this on the afternoon, I've got to take some water down to water him. So I'm walking down on the night so I could have a drink. I carried a bottle of feed down with us and watered him. And you can see the leaves on there, they got the virus. But any normal person just walking past, they're not going to look at that. They're not even going to think about the plant's got a virus or it's good. It ain't going to affect nothing in here. That's why I bloody did it. So there's the first one I put in. That's a Boston leaf. Just looking at him. And there's the other one I put in. Right, this was our speaker. He was Danny Wells. Obviously illustrated talks. Breathing life into history. That's it. That's his main title. He does 30 different talks. This one basically was the English and gardening. Why well, some of us are obsessed with gardening, and the talk was superb. In fact, everybody enjoyed him. He's got 30 more talks, so we're going for the next 30 years. Good man, Boston night, and a good speaker. Right, another Delph. He's just about at it. Let's get rid of the chap. So we chopped him off, soil over as again. It's all the new growth. Give him a good watering. Right, I need some more stuff. There's a couple of Angie, right, who comes to our meetings. That Colin Obey, this who gave me one of my best mates who died on me. That's whose van I've got now. They gave me the Colin's van. And while I was there with the mate, he says they raised beds need top dressing. I said, I'll sort it out with some of that. So I legged it down with Bushin. Got him some spent ops and some fabric book. Plus, that had the delivery of a top wood chip. So there's wood chip with chopped leaves in. So I thought that'll do. So I brought them 3 back. The wood chip, I top dressed any bed patches on my own. This is the Delphinium. I'm gonna give him a good weight to. He used to got a bit of colouring at the top, so I'll leave him on for a couple of days. That's the one at the end of the tunnel. But you'll see the new growth at the bottom. That's before I chopped him off. Where he's telling you, chop me off, feed me, I'll get another spurt. But there's loads opening up again now, and other plants which I forgot I had last year. Right, this looks a bit soft when I filled it and sprayed it, because there's no you've got the pattern there, and then you just get bold. You know, you tell them bloody mile off. And I thought about my little chap board to make the indentation in the can of seeds. You've got to file the seed down till you get that white inner skin. Then once they get moist, then that's where you spurt from. So I thought this would be ideal. I'm going to try it anyway. So that pattern, I'm going to do my best, get it to go all the way along. So I'll just copy down briefly what I want there. And then I inked it onto there with my pen. Perfect on the step, because we got a step outside. This was out the wind. Put my cushion through the Irish, and I could lean on there, and my hand was steady, if that makes sense, because I was against that. And I'll just ferret it away. So I've got the same pattern as this lot. And it worked. I was chuffed a bit. So now the original gold I had, I've walloped on the top of there. See the pattern underneath. So now I've just got to get another spray. It's similar to that lot, which I have found and got that on eBay. It is on Root. There's my little flower, which is from my mate Dave up Chesterfield. I didn't get him to early enough for a Boston flower. His name Lucifer. Happy Fireworks. That's the name of him from Seed. Foster. Love him. He's took over as my favourite canner. Sweet peas, as soon as these are ready, they come off. Nice little flower arrangement. Right, lids come off and my little, not stickers, but they call it like grease-proof paper. Years ago they used to put them on the top of jams and whatever. I've got loads on with me labels, so them are going on in the road. Just to impress the judge. Shows you a bit of effort. Only got one little lad for one of them. So he'll be going, that will be going for exhibition. So they're in the garage ready for the wine. Right, this lot here, these are all your bits and pieces for me waiting kit. Brilliant. Sal got me onto this. This is all he uses when he goes away down the caravan. Weeks on end, and this comes on twice a day. And it feeds all his baskets, everything in the greenhouse, a lot. And he gets away with it. I thought that'll do for my tunnel. Right, glad he's putting a bit of meat on, so I'm going to start potting these out. You always have some misses. Well, there's one missing there, or some that don't look very well anyway, so they were called. Another one missing there. One missing there. And these are the other beds, the other side, missing there. So I'm just getting them all ready. I take the old ones out. And in fact, that was off the comb. I couldn't find it at all. It really disappeared. Get rid of the one. The good thing about replacing, you could also put these sideways, side on. Exactly the same again. Look, the warmth is on this side of the pot. Next year, turn your pots. Yes, definitely.
Mick, is that the warm or is it the sun drying the soil out on one side of the pot?
No, that's the warmth.
Right.
Yeah, because well, I do it early on in the year, but obviously I ain't got time or I forget. But it's just telling me turn your bloody pots because I mean originally turning them because the sun pulls the plant. You know, to it like if I was doing leeks and onion seedlings, I'd turn all the ones in the drinking cups because they've been drawn to the sun. That's why I turn them. But obviously, I forgot to do these. So it's nice and level, top dressed him, really mulch. And the other two, well, the three I'm out now. There's one down by Pet, that yellow room. And the two spares, these are going on the side. So Russian jumps up and runs up here. So they're making a disturber either. So I've got to get these nice and level. Two more canes again. Bit of tape around them, going to split and get them nice and level. Perfect. So I've got them in there. My last three big ones are out. Right, that day work with one cane looking after me carrots. So I put three in, three big ones, and tied all the way around. Now I'm going to do these as well. The good things about these, I put the canes in outside. So I know I'm not going to not get anything to do with them. And this works as well in the first one. That's the three of them do. Just keep them nice and upright, look after them. Even that little chap in there. Right, this one they look very well, as you can tell by the top. There's something wrong with him. So I've got him out whole. But there's a bit of a miscoloring on him there. If they don't look right and you've got spares, then get them out. Right, these are more with bits for the winches. I'm going to mix all these together. Rub them all out by hand, each one. Get any lumps out and then mix them ready for the top dressing. So I've got the rabbit muck, spent tops, leaf mold, and the wood chip with the leaves. And all these have been mixed up ready. And there's two large bags, one each. And then the shed for a beautiful stuff. That'll be perfect as a top dressing. So once I bung down in, plus it'll be a feed as well with the goodies that's in there. While I was mixing this lot, I was looking through there and I saw a variegated leaf. I thought I ain't noticed him before. Obviously, he's been there for bloody yonks. But I couldn't believe I misplaced. Oh, look at that. Red currant jam, I tried him first. Beautiful. And the goose gog. Yeah, Boston. I don't usually eat jam. What do I do now? Right, tip burn. These have been in the greenhouse and the sun, when we've had that good sun, has scorched the ends. So that's something else I've learned. There's a bit of burn on the end of these as well. So I'll now keep on the shady side of the greenhouse, if that makes sense. Not in direct sunlight. Something else I've learned. Right, potting on my mixture. I saw this little chap because I got a good eyesight. And I thought I've seen him before. And when I used to grow the Leeks exhibition, the allium leaf miner, used to bore into the leek miner, allium leaf miner. So he bores in, and then the little yellow chrysalis goes all the way down the leek towards the root. That scars it. That's what distorts the leek. Then it turns into this little chap near to the base of the plant. So when you get him up to eat him or bin him, this will drop off and he'll be there ready for next year. So it starts, the cycle starts all over again. But he'll job anything that you plant out there next year, obviously in the allium family. So I noticed that little bugger, so I squashed him. little thrive shade. So potting these on, I'm still up in the bottom. Thing with this pot, it's the same size pot, but it's deeper, if that makes sense. So I'll fill that up about 3.5 inches, put the pot that this is coming out of, it's perfect into there. So it's in the same size pot width-wise. I've got a bit more depth on it. And these are two little chaps I'm going to keep an eye on, the last two. Another perv from Artley's garden to the side. But everything's doing well. Cheeky bugger. This really a throat shot. Literally bloody bird seed. Bird seeds up here. Come to put down there. Shit. Yes. I got a date with a woman who identifies as a wheelie bin, but I can't remember if I'm taking her out on Wednesday or Thursday. You're going to laugh, are you? Well, you ain't going to. That's it, people.
Thanks, Nick.
Hope you have enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
Cheers, Mick.
Yeah, there will